Pizza delivery drivers of Reddit, what are some of the craziest reasons people have ended up on the no delivery list? Some frat guy grabbed a female driver's ass and we banned the whole frat. They kicked the dude out and wrote a seriously good apology to the driver, and we delivered to them again after she said she was okay with it. You are the only person so far to have used punctuation. I'm proud of you. Who do you think they had write the letter? Honestly, good on the frat. And on the pizza restaurant. Too many of both pizza places and frats wouldn't react like that. When I was 19, I delivered pizza for a locally owned store by the college. Not only did we deliver food, but we delivered beer. Alcohol had to be delivered with a minimum $7 food order, and whoever showed ID at the door became the responsible party, and it had to be delivered by 1:45 a.m. I received a large order from a sorority on a Saturday night to deliver with 5 pizzas and a couple cases of beer. No one answered the front door, but I heard a bunch of voices around back, so I walked around and it was roughly 30 girls, no males. 2 girls said to follow them into the house to show me where to put everything. They were clearly beyond drunk and they started grabbing at me, trying to get my shirt off and grabbing my crotch after I sat everything on the kitchen table. 3 more girls came in and were kissing me on my neck and grabbing my hair and messing it up. At first I was thinking, holy crap, this is the beginning of some porno movie, and then they kept getting more aggressive and more girls were coming in, so I got the hell out of there, without getting paid. I got back to the store and the owner was pissed I did not collect any money. I told him just to drop it and take it out of my pay. He ended up calling the police and it became a whole thing with local news getting involved. It was a nightmare. This was in 1992. I worked for a pizza place that was near a very large software company. Deliveries to the neighborhoods or offices where all the tech workers lived was usually pretty awesome because they tip rather well. But there was one apartment that started to become a concern for us drivers. The man ordering was always polite, always paid, always tipped $4, and he would have been a perfect customer. He'd order breadsticks and a salad twice a week, and sometimes he'd include a bottle of root beer. Except when he opened his door, you could see an alarming amount of our breadsticks boxes stacked everywhere inside. Not like a few on the counter and a couple by the trash, stacks and stacks of them. Even worse, it was only our boxes in there. He wasn't just ordering from us often, we were the only place he was getting food outside of work. Now, I've worked in some of those tech offices myself, I know that there's enough decent food options just hanging out in the break rooms that this guy was probably not malnourished, but the way his living space was a shrine of greasy cardboard was a clear sign that this guy didn't have a healthy relationship with our food. Our manager was a really cool dude though, and he heard the drivers joking about the boxes and asked a couple of us, is this like a messy guy or a guy who needs help? We agreed it was probably the latter. So on his day off, the manager went to the guy's apartment with an envelope that had gift cards for several other restaurants that delivered in that area and chatted with him. Manager found out that the guy was an immigrant on a visa who was struggling to find American food he liked and too socially awkward to ask anyone. So he talked with him through a few menus and helped him with some recommendations. Then he helped the guy load all the old boxes into his truck to take to the dump, in exchange for a promise not to order from us more than once a week. For a little while, the manager had a note on the calendar showing the last time the guy had ordered, and a couple times he had to hold his ground and refuse the guy's order. But after that chat, I never saw the stacks of boxes again, and the guy would boast about the different meals he'd had. This was heartwarming AF. That manager is a hero. Damn, I hope they're both doing well. I hadn't realized this was a story I needed to hear. I'm so happy your former manager is out there being a truly decent human. Well, there were a few, over the years. One lady, around 70, kept answering the door with an open robe and nothing else on. This one dude was weird and angry, and would call up and just start in with, you fucking idiots, if you can fucking get a fucking order right one fucking time. I don't think he knew 2 swear words, and we had to tell new people you can just hang up on him. But from what I heard, when he did get a delivery early on, he was nice and polite at the door. Some weird psychological stuff happening there. The Zeppelin guys were the worst. This weird tall place had to go up for stories of rickety stairs, and every damn time they would wait till I was back down and then yell down at me saying we got the order wrong. They were Zeppelin guys because they always had Led Zeppelin playing pretty loud. They wanted me, and others, to go all the way back up, take the wrong pizza back, and bring a new one and get it for free. This worked a few times, managers always wanted to give into it, but then the drivers all sort of briefly unionized on this one point and no one would deliver to them. So the manager finally caved in and told them not to order anymore. Stairway to aggravation, I guess. He was nice and polite at the door. This is pretty common. People tend to be more polite when facing someone directly. The further removed you are from another person, the more dehumanized the interaction becomes. Hence the internet is full of jackwads. I delivered pizza for 5 years of my life and I don't have one crazy story. I got bit by a little dog on the ankle once. That's about the craziest thing. The weirdest thing that happened though, this woman would call twice a week and order a pasta to be delivered. This went on for years. Then one night I'm taking her order, and I said, "And you'd like this delivered tonight, I'm assuming?" And she said, "No, I'd like it delivered tomorrow." We both laughed, and I said, "I'll see you in 20. I go back to make her order, and the phone rings again. It's her. She says, "I'm going to cancel my order." Do you know why? I was like, "What? No?" "Because you asked me if I wanted it delivered tonight." What the hell is that shit? Then she hung up on me. She never ordered again. I still think about her sometimes. OMG, the arbitrariness of this would haunt me. It's gotta be football shaped. I worked for this little old pharmacy that's been around forever. A customer refused to accept or take any medication that was differently shaped despite desperate efforts of comforting and reassurance that the medicine we dispensed was truly the same active ingredient and dose just from a different manufacturer. But these are round pills. And my medicine. It's gotta be football shaped. We took back the medicine and re-emphasized on her profile which brand of manufacturer is football shaped. I love to whisper to myself the line to remind myself that there are some moments that I gotta concede to the arbitrary decisions and respect the opinions of other people's thoughts and preferences, especially if it causes no harm to anyone to just yield to the request. Last delivery of the night, it's like 4 a.m. Sober guy answers the door with a t-shirt on, no boxers or shorts, just his cock hanging out the bottom of his shirt. I worked in pizza Italian food restaurant in Alameda, California in the mid-1970s. The owner lived in a bungalow behind the restaurant. One night, he ordered a full dinner to be delivered to his home since he had the night off and had a date. I am tasked to taking the large tray of food out the back kitchen door to his abode. The rest of the staff are smirking as I exited. I get to his door and knock. He answers wearing a smoking jacket colored with purple paisley and velvet. The man was a shirt 5 feet 5 inches and very smarmy. He said, "Hey Poppins, check out my clogs." I looked down as I hand him the tray and his dong hung to below his knees. He said, "Join the party if you want your paycheck." I let go the tray and bolted away, and as I ran through the restaurant kitchen and out the front door, hopped on my bicycle and rode home. The rest of the staff cackling as I, a mortified 16-year, cried. I went the next day to formally quit and he refused to pay me my paycheck. My boyfriend came in with me and he had to threaten the man to pay me. Finally got my check. Fuck that guy and fuck those employees. He needs to be arrested for something. Soliciting a minor for sex seems like a pretty solid charge. When I was in high school, I had a family order about $40 worth of food. I show up and she gives me a $20. Then she said I must have dropped the other one. When I said that she did not, she asked me what would I do if I got $20. I told her that I guess she'd only get half the food. Then she threatened to call the manager and tell them I took the $20. It was my family's restaurant. I told her to go ahead and call my dad and that I would wait. She scowled and gave me the money. I told her not to call back. There can be upsides to working in your family's business, especially with "I want to speak to your manager" types. Hey mom. We had a guy and 2 girls order separately, then grab the pizzas and run. The girls had picked the food up and left, while the guy was paying. After 30 seconds the guy bolted. It was a $100 order. My manager, who is a frequent gym goer, leapt the counter and gave chase. The 2 girls had gotten into a car with the food, but when they saw my manager they drove off, leaving the guy. My manager chased him 3 blocks and was gaining on the guy when the girls pulled up and the guy got into the car. Unfortunately, all 3 of them went to school with a kitchen hand at the store, so we had names, jobs, addresses, and Facebook accounts. We contacted them all on Facebook and got them to pay for the pizzas the next morning under threat of contacting police. We also put them on the no delivery list. A Rottweiler broke the front window to attack me delivering their pies. The chain actually valued my health over profits enough to ban this house when the Rotti busted their living room window on a drop-off. We didn't put him on a no-serve list, but one guy answered the door naked, or rather with an open bathrobe. A few weeks later, he came to the door eating a can of cat food. That's just absurd. He's not going to want the pizza if he fills up on cat food. This was 7 years ago. Father offered his daughter up for sex to me on Friday night, then to another driver on Saturday night. Our GM wasn't comfortable with talking to him, so using the internet, I found the wife's name and landline number, called from my cell phone and asked for the wife. She comes on the phone, introduced myself and explained why I am calling. Never heard from him nor her. There's only a couple of people on that, and it's only because they complain about their delivery almost 100% of the time and demand free food. Even then it takes a lot. Back in 2021 my wife had to bite the bullet and deliver pizza between jobs. When she'd get home at 1 or 2 a.m., I'd get to hear about these people occasionally. Their no delivery bans were people, gender irrelevant, who opened the door naked repeatedly. Seems to be a common theme for young men and old women. People, mostly men, who would sex pester for phone numbers or follow back to the driver's car. No tippers who would order like $80 plus worth of pizza every week and not tip. Edgy teenagers who would fail miserably at prank calls. Their number would get banned for repeatedly calling in pizza for Vivana Humpalot. Parents would later call legitimately wanting pizza just to be told they were banned because their dipshit child didn't know Bart Simpson had already done every prank name in the book 25 years before the kid was even born. I only know of a couple people that got banned. One guy was drunk and really rude to a driver, and we blacklisted him from delivery. He could still come and get food, we just weren't going to deliver to him. He apologized, so we didn't make it a lifetime ban, just until the end of the year. The other person was banned and officially trespassed from the property. This person ordered food for herself and her family, her kid and grandkids. She was told it would be ready in 15 minutes, and it was ready in 13 minutes. She picks the food up 35 minutes after ordering it, 20 minutes after we told her to pick it up. Her family got pizza, she got a sandwich, which we put lettuce on after we pull it from the oven. Due to the 20 extra minutes it sat on the warmer, the lettuce wilted a bit as it does when it gets warm. This lady called the store screaming and demanding the manager. The assistant manager was in, so he took the call and could not get a word in edgewise. He eventually hung up the phone on her because all she was doing was screaming. The store manager came out of the office, he was working on the schedule, to find out what just happened as he could see him slam the phone down in anger. While this is going on, crazy lady makes a complaint about being given rotten lettuce in her sandwich to corporate. Obviously they get the RM to find out what the fuck is going on. The RM calls the store and asks for the store manager. RM asks for two things, a picture of a fresh-made sandwich, a picture of that same sandwich 30 minutes later after it has been on the warmer. We start this process and get a picture and set it on the warmer. While that is warming up, the crazy lady comes back to the store and starts screaming at everyone. The assistant manager is still at the front of the store and the store manager is getting the email ready for the pictures to be sent. This crazy bitch then throws her sandwich at the assistant manager, hitting him right in the face. It was still wrapped, so no mess and no damage to him at all, and I'm pretty proud he didn't jump the counter and choke her to death. He had taken her abuse for nearly 30 minutes with the phone plus in-person screaming. She peeled out of the parking lot right after. Cops were called and her family showed up while the cops were there. They apologized and said that her mom was on some new medication and it was a side effect. We said that is quite unfortunate to hear. She is never allowed to order from us again, we are not delivering to your address, and the police officer will hand you the copy of the order of trespass against her for her own files. Then there was the time someone knocked over a 2-liter and landing on its cap, causing it to break open and rocket directly into one of my coworkers' nuts. He didn't think that was funny, everyone else disagreed with him. We didn't ban this customer, but I feel like this story fits. I work for Domino's. I took a delivery to a hotel from an order placed online. So the actual customer put in the wrong address. So I deliver to the room number that she incorrectly put. Anyway, a couple opens the door, they're both stark naked, head to toe, and obviously fucked up. They paid for the order. I guess they thought I was a pizza fairy. IDK. But it was super awkward. So I get back from the delivery and the actual customer had called back complaining, so we remade the order. We couldn't ban her, and it's kinda hard to ban hotel deliveries. Years ago my local Domino's banned a woman who loved to answer the door naked and walk outside to collect the pizza no matter the weather while somehow trying to be sexy. Apparently she had an uncanny resemblance to Jabba the Hutt and smelled as bad as you could imagine. They put it as a health risk. They had asked a number of times to stop, but it only egged her on. When a Papa John's opened up locally they were already aware of her and shut that shit down pretty quick like. Been in pizza 20 years. It's usually a day drinker that assaults the driver and is generally more sad than exciting. I suppose the most exciting was a dude with shitty stairs in second floor. He was also a general dickhead. They wouldn't let us ban him even though the driver said it was a safety hazard. He eventually fell through the stairs piss drunk 12 feet to the ground and got banned. It was caught on video from one of those trackball Blackberries and the video sustained me for a year or two. I like how you say that you've been in pizza 20 years. I feel like I should salute you or something. It printed money until about 2 years ago. Getting out soon. What changed? Uber Eats. Yes, Uber and DoorDash have created competition with every restaurant instead of just your other pizza and Chinese joints, but that isn't the main thing. Use Wayback Machine website and you'll see the prices of pizza are within a few dollars of what they were 20 years ago if they are any more at all at chain restaurants. You can still go into a restaurant and get enough food for 3 people for $8 to $10 if you get a one-top pizza. I spent $73 to take my wife to Mexican last week. It's insane how cheap carry-out pizza is compared to inflation. People will not pay more. If you get delivery it gets expensive, but the pizza joints make nothing off those fees. The insurance for drivers is so much that it's not far off that pizza joints will only be able to use third-party delivery to remain profitable. If I summon a DoorDash driver it costs me around $6, but I don't have to pay workman's comp on him and I do have to pay him between deliveries. He does a shitty job and I can't vet his quality of character or ability to deal with customers. Still, the DoorDash driver is so much cheaper that even if I lose business from him dicking down my customers every day it's cheaper than house drivers. I hate it. It erodes quality of service greatly for short-term profit. I take pride in my ability to make a nice pizza and get it to your house. I can no longer guarantee my ability to do that in this market. I can make a 10-10 pizza for you and some kid who signed up for DoorDash 18 minutes ago can leave it at your neighbor's house and mark it delivered. The service part is impossible to do reliably without losing money these days. For 15 drivers I paid $2,800 for insurance in 2023 January. In 2024 paid $4,600 for 11 drivers. It's just not a viable business model with today's insurance. Meanwhile, the food cost has skyrocketed and I'm glad I can pay my people more than I could a few years ago, but there's no money left. I now work more hours for less money than when I started and inflation has destroyed the purchasing power of that salary. I effectively take a 5% pay cut every year I do quit. When I moved in with my brother, I ordered Pizza Hut. An hour later I called to see where they were and told me they do not deliver to this address and had cancelled my order. I learned my brother would get drunk, order Pizza Hut and then pass out or flat out refuse the order when they showed up. He did it multiple times.